Hi, gorgeous. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. I have been in it, not gonna lie. Past couple months have been a little wild, a little stressful, very chaotic emotionally, I would say, which is why I haven't been here. And if you've noticed, sorry. If you haven't, great. I'm glad we're starting this journey together today. There's just been a lot happening. I'm sure you guys have felt it too in the collective, just in terms of astrological, um, you know, planet shifting, Uranus going to Geminis, like all the things I keep hearing about these days, and Sedna and Chiron, and like all of this crazy stuff happening that's affecting our lives, probably more than we know on the back end, and just energetic, upgrades and downloads and everything. So I've just been taking time to rest and just integrate, I would say. I also have a corporate job, so that really just sucks up a lot of my time and energy, not gonna lie. And that has been super intense in the past couple months. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, stay in it, even though it feels more and more misaligned um, from doing what I love to do, which is this and energy healing and health and wellness coaching. So, just trying to figure out life really. And this is like such a crazy time. It's also my birthday, right around the time of the astrological new year. I'm an Aries sun. So, just a lot of change has been in the air. Welcome change. It's exciting and it's fun. Not hasn't been fun. Let's be honest. It's not been fun, but a lot of change has been going on. Um, and if you're feeling it too, I'm sending you so much love and so much healing. I'm with you in this journey. Trust me when I say that. But looking forward to doing a reading today in the collective, just to kind of see like what the fuck is going on, just from the perspective where I'm sitting in. If you are also, a corporate girly and you want to chat and you want to, heal your nervous system, I've been doing that. So we can have a chit chat. I have some offerings down below. I set up a stand store. So hopefully that's of interest to you. Take us, a look there. We could talk about it later. You can also just go look, because the first thing that popped out, I have a bunch of different decks that I laid out because I was very indecisive today about where I wanted to go and just have spirits or just sort of talk today. But coming out of the daily guidance from your angels oracle card deck with Doreen Virtue, I'd show you the front, but it's completely gone, basically rubbed off. This popped out before I even shuffled. I'd done like all my other decks. I'd shuffled all the other decks, and like gone through every single one of them. And this was the last deck that I was pulling out. And this card popped out. I haven't even looked at it yet. Without me even shuffling, I just opened it. It was like, boop. So clearly it wants to be heard today. So I think we're going to start here. And the card is Innocence. It says, Beloved one, everyone is guiltless in truth, as no one can alter God's handiwork of perfection. Give us your feelings of heaviness so we can lighten your load. Oh God, I need that. Give us any guilt, anger, or blame that may shroud your loving outlook. Enjoy the peace within your heart once more. Innocence. I think that is so beautiful for just personally how I've been feeling. And if you've been feeling this way, just a lot going on, a lot of heaviness going on. What a beautiful way to start this reading here. Just knowing that these really, I'm not going to say hard, not harsh, not hard, but these really heavy feelings. That's the H word I was looking for. The source is going to help us lift it now. Our angels are going to help us lift it now. So I honestly do believe it too. There's a full moon in Scorpio on Friday. If you're watching this around the time that I'm filming it, May 1st is the date of the Scorpio new moon. I feel like a lot of shit's going to be coming up. So buckle up, Buttercup. I feel like though it's not going to be bad in terms of things you haven't known, but knowing that it is a full moon and that's when things sort of come to light, and knowing that Scorpio, and clearly I'm struggling with shuffling today, clearly. Scorpio is, the underworld, and it's those deep, dark depths that are within you that want to be seen. They're going to become illuminated. So a lot of these heavy feelings that I've been feeling, that maybe you've been feeling, are here to be seen and to be let go of. I think that's what this full moon is going to be saying to us, is to let go of these heavier things that we've been carrying, bring them to the surface. If you're, a fire sign, you like working with fire, you do a fire ceremony, like writing everything out that you've been feeling and just giving it over to source. Scorpio is also a water sign. So if you want to do some, water magic, whether that's just taking a bath, going in the ocean, letting the water sort of carry away. I think a lot of these, intensities that we've been going through in the past couple months, um, and that's kind of what it feels like. And if we know anything about new moons and full moons, the full moon is sort of the culmination of the 6 months. So think back to 6 months ago when maybe you planted something during Scorpio time in that new moon and see if that's what's coming to fruition. I have a terrible memory, so I don't remember really like what I was thinking about back 6 months ago because it feels like forever ago now that, it's been such a crazy, hectic year so far. But if you can remember and you have a better memory or you journal and do all that great stuff, look back to see what might be coming back up for you in these 6 months. Okay, so now we have the Work Your Light Oracle card here, Oracle deck here from Rebecca Campbell. Let's see what else wants to come out. Spirit, what do we need to know for today? Okay, I've got a couple cards coming out. Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So I don't know if you guys have heard about the planet Pleiades, an ancient people before our times who were much more sophisticated than us. I don't have all the details off the top of my head. If I did, I would share them with you, but I, encourage you to go look it up. Let's see if this little guidebook has anything for us too. Let's go back to the table of contents and see if we can find it. But I hope you're doing well. And if you're not, let's talk, please. I'm here to share life journeys together and help you on your path if you need any help or you just want to talk with someone. Okay, page 118. I'm here. It's a heavy time. We're going through it. We're getting upgrades. We're getting downloads. We're getting all of the things happening at the same time. The earth is speeding up. So much is happening. So, tune into your nervous system, especially. I've been doing a lot of grounding and just kind of like reminding myself, like, breathe, and just a lot of breath work, and knowing that these things will pass. They come up for a reason to be healed. And that's great because we all want to be our best selves, right? And so there's a reason for all of this madness happening. Okay, so Pleiades, channeling and uplifting humanity. The Pleiadians are a group of star beings dedicated to raising the vibration of the planet and sharing new consciousness through creations and technology. They've been incarnating on Earth since near the beginning of humanity. You are a soul who has a double mission to grow at soul level and to raise the vibration of the planet. If you've been called to write, speak, or channel, this is your sign to keep doing it. So, for me, like starting this, YouTube channel and it being new and nascent, this resonates. If you are doing the same thing, or you're, channeling and you're giving readings, or just for yourself or for your friends or for your family, like keep it up. This is your sign to keep doing it. Your work is divinely guided. Of all the souls, Pleiadians are the chattiest, so perhaps you've already started channeling some of this work into the third dimension. Thank you for doing your part in the great plan. Your presence and unique light is needed. The transmission is, I call upon Pleiadian consciousness of the highest realms and highest good of humanity to work through me. Let me be a channel for only the purest light of the essence of source. Let me channel in a way that also serves me. That's so beautiful. And honestly, it really speaks a lot to Uranus moving into Gemini this past weekend, which, oh my God, was such a whammy for me. Like personally, I was just feeling all the feels, and especially Uranus is in my 11th house. Well, technically it's like still my 10th house right now because it'll cross over in a couple degrees. So look up your natal chart. If you don't know how to do it, reach out. We can also do that together, and find out some of these placements for you and how it's going to affect you. But Gemini is ruled by Mercury. It's the chattiest of all the signs, and sign of communication. And moving into, your different houses is going to mean different things. For me, it's the 11th house, which is about, sort of like networking and, friendships and the sort of like bigger realms out there that it's relationships, not necessarily the one-to-one. So, yeah, I feel like maybe these are just speaking to me, and this is a personal reading I'm doing for myself, but hopefully it's resonating for you too, and you're kind of getting some benefit out of this so far in what we're going through. And now we're going to look at the Spirit Allies deck to kind of see, what can help us through um, this time today. Any sort of guidance or touchstones that we can be looking towards or using as a symbol as we go through this crazy journey we call life in this crazy time that we are in 2026. Woo! Let's see what we got. Oh, hummingbird. Oh my gosh, how sweet. Have you ever seen a little hummingbird? They're so magical. Their little wings go so fast and yet they stand still. So it's really about, in what I'm getting coming through to me now is just like, I think the same thing as like the Pleiadians, the double mission, right? Like your wings are beating so fast, but you're standing still. So it's all of the downloads that are coming in and the communication, but being able to like process it in a still, you know, whole way and being able to integrate before you move forward and zip around. And you know how hummingbirds are pollinators too. So taking bits of information different places, having those downloads come in, making sure your crown chakra is clear, your third eye chakra is clear, your heart chakra, your root chakra, everything is working, in symphony together to be able to give that message back out is what I'm getting from hummingbird here, and how social they are. And they're just so sweet and special. And it really feels like a message from spirit when a hummingbird comes into your life, so being able to take those messages coming in, receive them properly, integrate and download them, and then be able to spill them back out is going to be, I think, so important in the next little bit. At the bottom of the deck, I just peeked down here. It's rabbit. Number 43, if that, is significant to you in any way. The hummingbird is number 41. So it could be the numbers 1, 4, 4, 1, 4, 3, all of those together. And the rabbit is, it's perfect for spring if you're in the northern hemisphere, in terms of abundance, and multiplying, and just like being like a little bunny rabbit and like hopping around and having that joy and just, bringing it out. What's also interesting about this card in particular too, it's got, both a white and a black bunny. So, and looking up at the moon. So talking about, again, that moon energy and the shadow side, and not being afraid of your shadow side and the shadow work that might be coming up to be healed for you. Letting yourself know that there is a duality. There's always a light and a dark. They work together. It's not a scary thing. And the more that you can integrate your shadow and do your shadow work and make it feel like it's a part of you, the less sort of like triggers and, hurt you'll be feeling because you'll know these patterns within yourself. You'll know what needs to be healed because it's coming up for you already and you're already working to heal it. So it's less of a trigger. So if you're doing inner work around, say, patterns with, your parents or your siblings, or things like that, because you're seeing other people in your life recreate that pattern for you, it's coming up to be healed for a reason. And the more that you can be aware of it and the more you can acknowledge it and say, I see you, I love you, thank you for teaching me what I needed to, see and heal in this lifetime, and that's what's going to be your greatest gift in this life too. If you know anything about Chiron, it's the wounded healer, and it's about bringing the gifts forward that are the hardest for you. So my Chiron is in the 10th house, which is in worth and self-worth. So which is why I resonate with being a corporate girly. It's like I associate so much of myself with that, but in reality, like it's a blessing and a curse, right? It's a curse because I feel like that personally is how I give to the world, but in reality, that's not true. But that's something that I can share with other people now too and help them get through that wound and help them get through the worthiness of, attaching yourself to the company that you work for and really just having it like integrated just who you are. I am worthy because I am. You are worthy because you are you. You are a being. You're a beautiful human being. You have a lot to bring into this world, and just to be able to just like fully know that about yourself is so valuable at this time. So I would encourage you to look at where Chiron is in your chart too, to see how that's working with you to become your greatest gift. How can you work on healing that wound that lives within you to then become such a beautiful gift for the rest of the world that you can go and give out, like also to the hummingbirds are on like a dark background too. So it's like, you don't normally see hummingbirds at night. So this is, again, bringing sort of the shadow aspects of yourself to the light and making it okay. Accepting yourself and loving yourself despite all that you may have been through, and all the wounding that you might have. That's really like what's meant to be shared with the world, is that vulnerability. And that's something that bothers me, is when people are not, vulnerable. They're trying too much to like cover it up and be the number one and then like I'm an alpha and blah blah blah. Like, we're all human beings. We're all here to live and love together and to have joy in our lives. Like, can't we all just like do that together? I find that so tiresome. And that's something I've been going through the past couple of months, is really dealing with people who are so focused on themselves and so focused on being number one at all costs, and forgetting about the rest of the collective because, they have to feel good about themselves. And it's just like, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted dealing with all that stuff. So I'm trying to just let it pass through me, and just accept that that is their path in this life, and my path is different, and my path is about bringing joy to the collective and helping us all feel seen and heard and understood in this life, because we're all in it together. That's why we're here. We're not meant to be competing. We're meant to do it together, collectively, symbiotically. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. All right, let's move on to the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards. I love this deck. So let's see what sort of things are going to come out for us. I just got a whole bunch that popped out. So 4 cards that popped out. We have, firstly, Oracle, waiting for important information. So maybe even waiting for something to come through to you, if it's like a sign from spirit, to move forward in your life, or a sign about, your unique gifts, which again, doing the sort of like shadow healing work for your Chiron, I think is going to help point you in that direction. So if you haven't done, some sort of like deep, inner journeying, either like shamanic work, or plant medicine, that's sort of my favorite route to do these things, to unpack a lot of my own wounds, in a way that doesn't feel so painful. So I think if you're still waiting for a sign to come in, it'll be coming in soon. I'm going to say this week. I feel like this full moon might bring it up for you. So be sure to like tune in and pause and give yourself stillness to be able to go within, and do a ceremony of some sort, whether it's a full moon ceremony, a plant medicine ceremony, cacao ceremony, it could just be like a tea ceremony. Like, look how wonderfully she's, holding this beautiful bowl of a hot liquid, and she's tuning into it. She's ready to receive the wisdom that comes from it, and the wisdom that comes from her own soul, and from her team and her spirit guides, and just, tune in and ask. Ask for clarity, ask for support, ask for what it is you need, because I feel like that's what's going to be coming up. We also have here, Lady, enjoy growth and reap rewards. So again, it's going back to the abundance and the fertility. And I'm seeing that, well, I guess her arm bracelet, her arm bracelet, I guess. And this one is a snake. So they're kind of similar, but not, the lady does not have the snake, but she has, an apple, which is a sign of fertility, and abundance and, beautiful wealth really coming in. So, take the time to, work through some of these harder things to get you to where you want to be. It's not all peaches and roses in this life, unfortunately. We have to go through some hard, lessons and, heal our inner wounds to be able to fully enjoy. You can't have joy without having sadness. You can't just like mute the sort of, more what people would call like negative, emotions of sadness, and fear and anger. And you can't be like, I only want positive ones. Like, that's not how this works. To be able to enjoy joy and feel it fully, you have to also feel sadness and know that it's not a permanent state. Know that it's going to move through you, as is joy. Joy is also not a permanent state. So I think just recognizing that these things, move through us and make us a whole person. You can't have one without the other. Also, going back to the ceremony space. So we also have Druid here, hold the space. I think I want to read from the book what this means. Hold the space, because again, I feel like it's coming back to this like ceremony in terms of shadow work that might be really beneficial for this week. Okay, Druid. Hold the space. The message is hold things together. Don't make any sudden moves or changes. Stand strong knowing you are where you're supposed to be. So if you felt like quitting your job or breaking up with your boyfriend, or leaving town abruptly without a full plan, this is a moment just to pause. The Druid is telling us to take a beat, plan your shit first, don't do anything sudden. So the Druids were ancient wise ones of the British Isles. They had deep connection with the earth, the sun, and the moon. They were the scholars who created the Ogham tree language. Ooh. And they were known for their creative skills in storytelling, poetry, and craftsmanship. When the Druid card appears in a reading, you're being guided to dig deep within and hold your station. If you're wondering what to do next or have a sense of anxiety about what is unfolding in your life, it's time to shift your perceptions and move back to a state of trust. Don't change your plans or do anything drastic. Just trust in the process and let everything happen as it needs to before taking any more steps. Think of a tree. It has strong roots, yet continues to grow and bear fruit. Your life will be a reflection of this. That is so beautiful. So ground, ground, ground. So this full moon's in Scorpio, but it's water. But be able to do all this deep shadow work and like inner work, we have to be grounded. We can't do anything just like without it, because then we're gonna feel like, oh fuck, like my life is absolute chaos. Everything feels unmoored and unrooted. And so just remember to ground, ground, ground before you do any sort of work. And also the last card we had is Broken Arrow. Embrace the energy of peace. So again, go within. I think it's time to do the sort of like, deep shadow work, knowing that spirit wants to help us. Our angels are here to take away some of those heavier emotions, but we need to be doing, oh no, lucky cat fell over. Sorry, little kitty cat. We need to be doing those deeper emotional work, the inner work, to be able to bring it out for others to enjoy, and uplift the rest of what's going on in humanity right now, because we need light workers. We need more of us out here, bringing the frequency up. There's so much heavy negative frequencies out there right now. Let's do what we can to, uplift one another, uplift our frequency, heal the beautiful earth, that we live on right now, and hold space for one another. I think that's so important. And thank you, angels and ancestors, for telling us that. And let's go with the Rider-Waite, just traditional tarot, to see if there's anything else, to maybe help round this out that we're not seeing, or any sort of archetypes that, we can be working with, or anything just like a, emotion of the moment, emotion of the day, that we're kind of feeling, just to be aware of and to work through. So let's see what we got. Spirit, anything? Okay, that's too many. Sorry. Can't take like a whole like 10 pack over here of cards. Thank you. Okay, so we have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah. So Three of Pentacles is again about partnership, and it's about working together, and it's about, being recognized for the work that we're all doing. So if you're doing all of the deep, intense inner work, you see how much time and effort to be able to heal yourself, you're going to yield a lot of results, because the Lovers comes out. Oh, and they're naked. I forgot about that. So sorry. The Lovers are here to tell us, that we're coming into union. It doesn't always have to be romantic union. It can be union of, your masculine and your feminine parts of yourself, but it is divinely blessed. You have an angel up here, you know, overseeing this whole situation. So know that you're taken care of. And again, sorry, I'm covering the entire card, but YouTube doesn't like the nudies, so we gotta cover them up, But so the Lovers is about, integrating, and it's about duality, and Uranus is going into is in Gemini. I keep saying going into, but currently is in Gemini already. And this is Gemini's card. It's about duality. It's about the male and the female together. It's about, duality, the light and the dark, and the communication that goes with it. So it could be that, you're going to have a really fated union, coming in if you don't already have one. And this could be a deepening of that connection, with the Three of Pentacles here and, partnership and working together. But it could also just be, you integrating your work together, because the card that also popped out is a Death card. So this is not, physical death, but it is, a death of a situation, a death of an emotion, a death of a relationship. It can be, moving on from one thing to another. So there's definitely change in the cards here, but you have to hold space for it. You have to be able to, tune in and give yourself a moment of pause and reflection and do the inner work and hear what's coming to you and know that your angels are supporting you to be able to move forward into the path you're meant to go on. Jeez Louise, I just dropped a bunch of cards, sorry. I feel like, ironically, two cards that just fell to the ground also speak to this too. Like there's, a path in the background here of the Death card. If you can kind of see back here, there's like two pillars and the sun's behind it, like that's the portal to be walking towards. But to go there, to get to that portal, you have to let some things go. And it definitely feels like maybe you're in an in-between state. I am for sure. So maybe again, this is my reading, I don't know. But the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Swords. So you're wanting two different things, and maybe they go together, but maybe they don't. With the Death card, maybe that's what it's saying, is like maybe the Death card is saying you can't have both. You got to pick one. But you're too busy being like, well, but this, pays me really well, or this one is where all my friends live, or, just there's something that is just holding you back. I didn't want to say holding you back because it's not necessarily like you're stuck. I mean, you kind of are stuck, but it's your own doing is the issue with the Two of Swords. It's the Two of Swords is very much like, no, don't want to hear it. Nope, everything's fine. Everything here is good. Whatever, move it along, but clearly the universe is saying something's got to give. You can't continue doing this juggling dance that you're doing here. You kind of have to pick a path and go forward and trust that your angels and spirit have your back, and they're going to bring you something really, really beautiful to compensate for the one you have to give up. So yeah, there's just a lot of duality happening in these cards here, between the rabbit and the hummingbirds. There's two of them. We got the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles here. So it's really, I think, about just sort of like tuning in and just being really fucking honest with yourself and not being like, no, I can have everything and everything's fine. You're going to get burnt out if you continue doing all the things. You're going to get burnt out if you're not already there. And if you're already there, I feel you. You got to rest. You got to take time for yourself. You got to let something drop. You have to, because there's no way that you can continue doing what you're doing or where you want to be going and giving back to society, giving back to other people. You can't do that if you're burnt out. And if you are burnt out, we can totally work together, because I understand, there's plenty of things that we can do, in terms of, foods to be eating, exercises to be doing, just like really gentle things with yourself, because I know sometimes the hardest thing when you're burnt out is just to do anything. I know that what I want to do when I'm burnt out is just sit on the couch and watch TV and just let the world pass me by and not have to deal with anything else. Like, I feel you, but like, you have to take tiny little steps. And so we can work together. We can do, energy healing. We can do a coaching program, like whatever you feel called to do. Like when I'm burnt out, I can't even call the like repairman to come fix my dryer. Like that feels like way too much. So I've been there. I fully understand what burnt out feels like. So happy to chat. And that might be where you're at, because at the bottom of the deck is Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And that's usually when it's upright, is like, you're proud of the work that you're done. You're proud of the soil that you're tilling. Your things are coming in, the fruits of your labor are coming in, and you're starting to see results, and it's leading you to the Nine of, Pentacles, which is a woman who's really abundant. And she's like so happy because, she's put in so much work. But if you notice, this is like an upside down energy. It's just, you're not feeling proud of what's been going on. You're just like tired, and you're like, oh my God, here's another one I have to plant. And I can't believe I have to do another one. I can't believe I have more work to put into this. And yeah, you're feeling left out in the cold and maybe alone and isolated. And there is help. I think that's what the Five of Pentacles always says too. It's like people feel like alone and out in the cold, but in reality, it's like, this is typically a church, it doesn't have to be a church figure for you, doesn't for me, but there's a place inside, there's people inside there, the lights are on, there's help that can be had. You kind of just have to ask for it. So yeah, again, I feel you, man. If we're in that burnt out energy, rest, pause, take a bath, go to the ocean, ground yourself, take your shoes off, go outside. If you live, in the woods like I do, go outside. The other day, I was feeling really just like over everything. So I planted a little seed kit, and that made me feel so much better. Just something really simple, just getting my hands in the dirt. It's like a little baby seed kit, and just the idea of like planting something just soothed my nervous system to no end. And then I was ready to like get back into it. So if you're feeling that way, take small, subtle movements, but do it with nature. Don't try and overwork your mind. Like put your phone down, take some deep breaths, do some breath work, go outside, sit in the sunshine for a minute. If it's a sunny day, it's a little cloudy here today. Put your feet in water, take a bath, just do something really soothing for your body. Light a candle, just like take that energy down. Take it down. And we can do a little meditation too, just to like group, like really, I just combined groot, ground and root. Ground yourself, root yourself in. That will help, just in this moment of your nervous system feeling frazzled. All right, I think to close us out, we're going to get at some angel number messages and kind of see what might be another touchstone for you in this current energy. And I applaud you so much for doing your, healing work and all of the inner work that you're doing. It's not easy. Trust me, a lot of people avoid it. And that's why we have so many hurt people walking around being assholes, being really selfish, because the more healing we do, the more comes up, and do it in a way that feels safe for you. So, again, I work with plant medicine just to bring things up so it doesn't feel so chaotic, or there's like EDMR, chatting with a therapist, like just finding your community and how you need to heal. You don't have to do it alone, especially if it's like really traumatic stuff. There's some, trauma specialists out there who are really fantastic to work with. So, do your work, but make sure you're supported throughout. You could be if you're really close with your mom, could be your mom, sister, really close friend, just make sure you have a really nice support system in there. Okay, so 3 cards came out for angel number messages. We're going to start with my favorite, 44. Your angels are encouraging you to continue on your present life path with diligence and determination, and even greater success will come in the future. What did I just say? It's I am supported, y'all. That's crazy. Number 44, I am supported. So when you see 44, just know that your angels and spirit has your back, and they're here to help you through all of this, inner work and just what's going on in the world and everything, You are so supported and so loved. I promise you. If you don't feel it, tune in, ground, tune into your angels, wait for that important information. Let that love spill over you and through all of your chakras, because there's nothing like it. No human connection, love is the same as the feeling you get from divine love and just feeling that support. It's really, really, really beautiful and really wonderful. So just know you are supported. 29, you are highly intuitive and creative. Your mind thinks in pictures and you seem to draw information and ideas from out of the sky. A powerful drive to know the oneness of all things. I am insightful for 29. Confirmation burp there. So again, you guys, like, it's all coming together in terms of like what we're seeing here. Okay, last one, 17. The quality of work you can produce when you're going at it alone is almost unbelievable. You are as independent as you are ambitious, capable of performing every step of the way with efficiency, focus, and skill. 17, I am independent. So yes, you are, and you can be independent and do this inner work, but you're also super supported. So it's like, even if you are independent in the physical sphere, physical reality, in the spiritual reality, you are so supported and so loved. And, Spirit wants to send you this information. Again, all of these cards coming in to say that information is coming in for you to be able to heal yourself and then heal others. I think that's what's really important, is like, the more that you heal yourself, the more you can heal others. It doesn't mean that you have to overtly be like, I am healing you. It's just by your presence. It's by your listening to others and by your connecting with others and knowing like, I've been through this, you've been through this, we have a common connection, or again, literally just like, if you are at peace and someone who's not at peace comes into your frequency, you can bring them into that same frequency with you. I think that's the sort of healing that we're talking about here. You don't necessarily have to be like, on YouTube or, starting a business or touring and doing all these things. It can just be one-on-one. It can just be you sitting in a room and just being so grounded and at peace with yourself that it just emanates and everyone else gets healed because of that. Like, how beautiful is that, that your presence is so healing just from you doing all of this hard work, but really to uplift humanity. That's what we're doing it for. One, to make ourselves feel better. Selfishly, of course, we are human. We're souls in a human body. We're having a human experience. We all want to feel good. Yes, absolutely. But then also, two, when you feel better and you're healed or you're in your healing journey, you're never going to be fully healed. There's always things to do. But that also helps others heal, knowingly or unknowingly. So I think that's really, really beautiful. I'm going to close it out here. There's so much good stuff to work with, and again, I'm wishing you so much peace and support with the Scorpio full moon that's going to happen on May 1st. And if you're seeing this after the fact, just know the same things still apply, just without the date attached to it. There's, full moon every couple weeks, a new moon every couple weeks. And just know that like you are loved and so supported from spirit and from me. And I'm so happy to be able to share this message with you and to share this, journey with you, because again, it's not easy. Community is everything in doing all of this. So I hope you have community, or you feel community, or we're building a community here. I really hope so. And I hope to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. If you want to work with me, you can find my information below. I know I've said that a bunch of times. Sorry, I'm not trying to be salesy, I promise. I will forget unless I say it. So I'm wishing you all the best, peace and love, and I'll talk to you soon.